Hello, welcome to the launch of the 8th edition of the Global Prize, Ethics and Trust in Finance for a Sustainable Future. I'm Josina Kamerling. I head regulatory outreach for the EMEA region at CFA Institute, and it's been my very great pleasure, together with Professor Paul Dembinski, to co-chair the jury for this very wonderful prize. This prize was launched in 2006. As an aim to promote greater awareness among young people, the under 35s, throughout the world, concerning the benefits of ethics in finance and encouraging high quality management of banking, insurance and financial services based on trust and integrity and for the good of society. Something that has been talked about specifically post-pandemic to refocus and finally purpose finance and the financial industry for the good of society. Young people are invited to submit creative papers in English or French, German, Polish, and Spanish as sub-prizes, setting out analysis and proposals on the promotion of ethics and trust in finance. The prize money is US dollars 20,000, which will be shared amongst the winners. And the deadline for the papers is the 31st of May, 2021, so a full year. And we really do encourage everyone who is under 35 and has an interest in ethics to participate. And I can tell you that as a jury member, we read all the essays with great pleasure, and I always get hints and ideas of what you're thinking and bring it to my work when I engage with regulators. So the prize is organized and managed by the Observatoire de la Finance, which is headed by Professor Paul Dembinski, who is co-chairing with me, as I said. In the past, we had some very prestigious award ceremonies at the IMF in Washington with Christine Lagarde, at the Banque de France with the governor of the Banque de France, and at the OECD headquarters with the Secretary General in Paris. Again, clearly indicating how large multinational institutions and policy-making bodies think that this prize can really help to change finance and specifically also encourage young people to have a voice and to say what they feel. The main sponsors are CFA Institute, Euroclear, Fondation Pictet, Swift Institute and ACCA and the OECD. We actively support and promote the prize. We are all keen to contribute from our different organizations to debates with our own members, with society, and really think that this is something that this prize contributes to our work and to make finance really be at the service of society. Now, we will have two panels, and my co-chair, Professor Paul Dembinski, will be chairing the very first panel, which is the CEO or the senior members panel with key senior figures from the financial industry. Paul Dembinski is an economist and a political scientist by training. He is a professor. He's holding the chair for international competition and strategy at the University of Fribourg in Switzerland. And in 2019, he was made Dr. Honoris Causa of the Warsaw School of Economics. He's the initiator and creator and director of the Observatoire de la Finance, which has as its mission to promote awareness of ethical concerns in financial activities and the financial sector. And since the beginning in 2006, he has been co-presiding the jury of the Ethics and Trust in Finance. So I look forward to this first panel very much. The second panel will be chaired and moderated by Claire Payne. And this is the younger panel. This is a panel composed of laureates and prize winners of previous editions of the prize. Claire herself was awarded the very first Ethics and Trust in Finance prize for her paper called Ethics or Bust, written prior to the financial crisis of 2008. At that time, she was managing the Integrity Office of Macquarie Bank in Australia. Post-Price, she then went on to author a book called A Matter of Trust, The Practice of Ethics in Finance. Claire currently holds the position of EY Fellow for Trust and Ethics and is an advocate for tobacco-free finance. She has been recognized as a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader and an Australian Top 100 Women of Influence. So again, you see the importance that the prize can bring to someone's life and career. When you win it, or if you get one of the main prizes, sometimes it can be life-changing, and that we as a jury and all of us who are working on this prize feel is a wonderful thing. Other previous laureates, and just as an example, because there are many, and I would love to be able to mention all of them, they all really have something to say, and I'm very impressed by all of their efforts. But just to give you a flavor, Ross Murdoch won the first prize in the 2014-2015 edition. He wrote about behavioral ethics and how this can be used to understand the motivations of decision making and give insights on how to make the right decisions in the future. He is from the UK and works as a regulator. Prabha Yoshi was first prize ex aequo in the 2012-2013 edition. His essay focused on the LIBOR manipulation scandals and how we can move towards better ethical dynamics in banks. Again, he also was from the UK. He was in the consultancy industry. Bibi Mehtab Rose Palan won the third ex aequo prize in the 2016-2017 edition. She wrote about misbehaviors and ethical issues concerning bank employees. She had really a very strong personal motive. She'd been working for 10 years in a bank, had gone through different sectors of the bank, from calling centers to relationship management. And she really thought that ethics could be highlighted from all these different angles. I want to give you a quote from my CEO, Margaret Franklin, who's president and CEO of CFA Institute. She said, post-pandemic, this time of heightened market volatility sets up a very different path for those who will succeed in meeting their investment goals and those who will not. Fear and panic can obscure sound investment decision-making. In this climate, the need for trust in institutions and in the advisors who act on behalf of investors, as well as the financial system in which they operate, becomes starkly apparent. Indeed, we all know that at this time, it is absolutely crucial to have the trust of the investors and have the trust of society that we are going to work together to recuperate the economy. And even more so because there were issues before this crisis came. Regulators and stakeholders in the financial industry were still struggling with the fact that 10 years after the crisis, there still was a significant gap between what retail investors expected and what they actually got. In terms of transparency of fees, in terms of was their advisor really acting on their behalf? Was their advisor managing and disclosing conflicts of interest? Large gaps, more than 40% in some cases. So that shows that there is a lot to do. And business conduct will be one of the key issues post-pandemic that policymakers, regulators, and supervisors will be focusing on. So it is important. The coronavirus recession is not due to a crisis of trust. It came about from the health crisis, but still where we are now is really, it has acted as a magnifying glass from where we were before, and that is important. We need to solve these issues now. So let me now turn to the keynote from Vice President Valdis Dombrovskis of the European Commission, who is an Executive Vice President for an economy that works for the people. He thought it was so important to participate in this launch of the Ethics Prize, that he is giving us a message from what the EU is doing post-pandemic and where it wants to go. He has had a long career in both national politics in Latvia and also at the European level as an MEP in 2 parliamentary terms. He was also Latvia's Minister of Finance, and he was also, of course, in the last period of the EU Commission that went from 2014 to 2019. So really, it is crucial for us as jury members and for all of those who are with this prize to see that senior policymakers, senior politicians, senior central bank governors are very keen to contribute in dialogue with this prize. And that should show young people that what they're saying in this prize is really being listened to. So I really hope that you will be writing in your essays. And now I will turn to give the floor to Valdis Dombrovskis with his keynote, and after that it will be the first panel. Thank you very much.